living quarters at the Bighorn Proposal. So, to be quite honest, because I care and love this place so much, I used that in order to get an invite from the government, because they were only inviting certain people and not getting a good overview of what the general population wants here.
So what does the general population want?
Well, at the last public meeting that we had here the other day, a really good man got up on the stage and he asked the crowd who supports this, and we counted 3 hands of people in a room of 200 that supported it, and everybody else in the room was against it. The government has been pushing this through. They've been underhanded in the way that they've done it. They've been doing pretend consultations all the way through. Even this setup that they've done tonight is designed to keep all the people in this room from hearing each other's questions and hearing the answers to those questions, which might make people think of other questions when they hear the half responses that we were hearing in the stakeholders meetings as groups. For example, in the stakeholders meeting, one of the things that really stood out to me is one of the fellows that's a stakeholder in the Hummingbird area pointed out to them that without gravel pits, because they've been telling us that there's not going to be any more gravel leases and stuff, how they plan on fixing the roads in that area, because those gravel pits that are there now are actually for the roads and the maintenance for the roads in those areas. And it's like, if the government doesn't even understand something as simple as that, what other roads are in this plan? And especially with all of what went on in southern Alberta and in the Castle and the Porcupine Livingstone area, where groups were told one thing and then when they walked to the podium they announced a completely different thing. I think that most of the people around here are just absolutely convinced that when this is all said and done, that the backyard that they've loved and known for generations is going to be taken away from them, and it won't look at all like what they're proposing here.
It sounds like there's a lack of trust there. Is that a fair statement?
I would say there's an enormous lack of trust, and it comes from outright lies that the government told down the south. We've all been paying attention. We're heavily invested in this area, and I think that, I mean, for one thing, you know, with the town hall meetings that the people in Rocky Mountain House have had to put on their own because the government won't do it, and the lack of the Environment Minister Shannon Phillips showing up to these events just makes them even more suspicious that she's trying to stay out of the firing line while she pushes through an ideological agenda.
Now, what are some of the things that people were lied to about in the Castle and Porcupine Hills?
Well, the nearest and dearest thing to my heart is, you know, family activities such as OHV use in the trail systems around this area that are some of the best in the world and are taken care of by some of the best volunteers in the world. And down in the Castle, they were told through letters to the OHV groups that they weren't going to mess with that, and when it came out, they did. And in the Porcupine Livingstone Plus, they did the same thing that they did with the West Country Plus here, which is to reveal a blank map that says, "Trust us, we got your best, we're going to do good by you." And when it actually all comes out, we find out that nearly all of the trails are gone, and the trail connectivity is non-existent, and the whole area is just in shambles because of a lack of understanding. The government doesn't understand the area like the general population that lives here and uses this area, but they won't talk to any of us. And that's what's got people fired up.
Are you an OHV person?
Yes, I am. I have been since I was 5 years old. My father and mother have had us out in this area ever since we were little kids. It's actually pretty much all I can remember about my childhood. And as I've grown up and had my own children, I have 2 daughters. One of them's 17. She rides a full-size 2-stroke dirt bike. She's empowered by it. And I'm prouder than anything when I see her riding that thing and taking complete control of it. And we've always been good and respectful to the trails. We've always been good and respectful to the environment. Our kids are some of the biggest environmentalists that you'll ever find. And if they see garbage in a campsite, it bothers them so much that just like 95% of the people in this room, when you see that, you clean it up. It never stays there for more than a day or two for the small percentage of people that cause issues. And in fact, because of the pressure of social media and the calling out of people that do that stuff, it's far as us general users have seen in the backcountry behind Rocky Mountain House, we've seen a huge reduction in that sort of behavior and activities, and I think that more social awareness and stuff can solve a lot of the issues that the government's trying to solve with more rules and regulations that no one in the area wants.
Now, what would you like to see? Would you like the status quo to remain, or is there a different type of proposal you want to see?
Well, I think for the most part, the status quo has worked pretty good in the areas west of the trunk road. There's public land use zone systems in place, which the Regional Advisory Committee has said, has been a great example of how to manage mountain areas. And with people, in the area, they want to use it. It's a beautiful place and stuff, and it's worked out really well for them. In the West Country Plus, I think that what they need to do is just fund the volunteer groups that have been spending their own money and their own time, and give them what they need to help the areas where people camp in heavy spots, so that bridges can be built over high traffic creek crossings and stuff, because all of us want nature to last here. I mean, this is why we love it. This is why we're out here, is because we're all nature lovers. They want to paint a picture of us like somehow that we all just go out in the bush and smash our quads through the trees and just make trails and smash trees down all over the place and stuff, and that's just not the case. We ride established trails that our fathers and stuff built, back in the day, and there's really not as much cause for concern as what they're making this out to be. As far as I can see, this is a move to commercialize our West Country, and even though they can say all they want about not building a whole bunch of attractions and stuff and whatever, I mean, just a few zip lines here and a couple of Nordic ski trails there and stuff, and a few tennis shoe walking paths, fine. I mean, the West Country is for everyone. But what's it going to look like 20 years from now, when this park has been long established and bigger commercial interests over the years have worked their way through the regulatory process and been approved here and given special approval there, and another one's been approved over here, and before you know it, our West Country looks like the European Alps. I'm from Bentley.
Okay, great. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.